We're here virtually at this year's ASCRS meeting in an unusual situation this year with the pandemic. And we're joined today by Roger Kennedy, who is Director of Marketing with BioTissue. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We're really thrilled to have you join us. And as I said, it is an unusual situation this year, but we wanted to sit down and really chat about what is going on, from your company. First of all, how is everyone? Is everyone safe? Have you changed operations, the way you're doing things in light of this condition? Or
Yeah, thankfully everybody is safe thus far. So we're based out of Miami. So a lot of the corporate folks have been working from home ever since the pandemic, especially became more and more pervasive.
Yeah.
So at least in Florida, they're starting to, bring some businesses back. And I think there's talks of us going back to the home office. As far as our sales representatives, we just ask them to follow the same guidance, their local guidance on their local communities. So hopefully to be respectful to other practices, but primarily for their safety as well.
Right. Well, that's good news. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what are some updates that you might have from BioTissue that have been taking place during this pandemic, or things that you've been working on? Any updates on pipeline or in your product portfolio?
Yeah, we've actually been in a spot that we actually still could serve the ophthalmology community, being that the guidance, at least from the AAO, was to treat urgent or emergent cases, and at least when it comes to ocular surface disease and things of that nature, with whether it's Stevens-Johnson's or chemical burns, things that would be very urgent. Fortunately, we manufacture products that are effective in treating those types of indications. So we still have had business even through this time period. Obviously, the whole eye care industry has been affected by it. So internally, we've just been talking about ways to partner and help our community, the eye care community in general, just get knowledge as to what treatments are going to be available, thinking about how can we help. We know that bandwidth is going to be an issue, especially when there's going to be a backlog in patients, we're predicting. And there may be some situations where staff may be limited or eliminated as a result of the virus. So having some sort of reimbursement support, we're continuing. We opted to continue to have that, just to take some of the burden off of the practices, off the physicians and staff, to help in that aspect, as well as our local reps are still available to give any type of implementation support or product access support for these kind of patients. We know that, with telemedicine being a big concern, or not a concern, being a big trend. And because of that trend, there's diagnosis, and there comes to a point where where a patient does have to come into the office, and we want to be able to help our customers treat those patients with something that's going to be, one, effective, and two, hopefully minimize the amount of visits that a patient has to have back in the office, because I'm sure the patient doesn't want to be back and exposed, nor does the doctor want any more exposure than needed. So having something that's long lasting is important, and we want to continue to provide a solution for that as well.
And in conjunction with that, obviously, with there just being so much, thirst for knowledge right now with everybody around the community, what are there some particular presentations you're working on for ASCRS or posters?
Yeah, so first I'll start with outside of ASCRS. Since the whole pandemic, BioTissue has really tried to host a lot of webinars. We know that a lot of companies have done that. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, there's been a lot of downtime. So we just want to continue to educate the market on just whether it's just sharpening the saw on indications or just opportunities or specific to COVID-19 and things you can do around that. We've continued to do that. For ASCRS, there's a number of posters that's going to be presented. I know two that really stand out to me are kind of in regards to Procura, or cryopreserved amniotic membrane when it comes into relation with Stevens-Johnson's or graft versus host disease. So we're constantly learning more and more about our product, being that it's regenerative medicine, and indications always seem to expand, and the uses and need for it seem to expand. So we want to get better at where it can be helpful, and hopefully offer that to our customers as well.
And, as ophthalmology prepares to reopen, what is your reentry message to ophthalmology or ophthalmologists, just to let them know, what is your message to them?
Absolutely. First and foremost, that we're there, and that we empathize with them. We understand that this has taken a toll. We've been following, just like I'm sure ophthalmologists and other people in the industry have been following kind of the trends. We understand that ophthalmology has been hit the most, with at least in the medical community, hit the hardest. With that being said, we fully anticipate and believe that it's going to bounce back the most as well. So we want to make sure our customers are prepared for that. Once again, having things like product access, the reimbursement support. I think the financial burden, both from a practice and an ophthalmologist, what they're going to be experiencing, as well as patients. You have a lot of patients that are going to be coming back to the office that haven't, because it wasn't considered urgent or emergent, but still is a pretty serious condition. Maybe they're dealing with some sort of chronic issue, as simple as moderate dry eye or something of that nature. They're going to need to get some sort of treatment, and really we just want to partner with our customers and really educate on ways in which our products can fit into helping those patients and helping them. And, one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, or at least our products on, is that one, it's clinically effective quickly, but I think more importantly, especially in this time, is that it's long lasting. So any opportunity, obviously when appropriate, that that a customer can use it, and a customer sees it necessary, and it'll help kind of eliminate that touch point or multiple touch points. We want to help position that to the doctor, and be there if they have any questions. Once again, from implementation, how to use it, how to get reimbursed for it, all the way down the line, accessing it. We want to partner with them.
Okay. You mentioned, a lot of webinars and so forth. How are you using those to kind of get your message out there, in terms of just education and anything like that?
Yeah, so I know I've mentioned this quite a bit, but reimbursement has been one of the more popular topics that we've asked. We kind of did a poll with both our sales team as well as customer. They asked their customers, and I think and it's exciting to see that they just customers just want to learn more, especially when they have the opportunity. So basically, our message is just to get them prepared for this bounce back that we're expecting. There's kind of this element of controlling what you can control. There's a lot that we couldn't control, right? With patients not being able to be seen, or doctors not being able to treat certain patients. So we just want to make sure that they're fully ready, capable, and now when they have the time to fully be abreast on options, or just these questions that an ophthalmologist may not have time to discover, or may not have time to research, or may not have been that interested, but all of a sudden they have that time, and we want to be able to provide that information. And that's how we've leveraged it, doing things like, I'm thinking over the last couple of webinars that we had, just a deep dive into corneal ulcers, which can be tricky. We have the awareness of conjunctival chalasis and how prevalent that is, just a variety of ocular surface diseases, reimbursement, like I mentioned, all of which I think, regenerative therapy in general, all of which I think are going to be options, and something that ophthalmologists are really going to have to consider what option to use, not only to treat the patient, but to treat them, like I said, in a way that's long lasting, so that it can be effective and hopefully avoid the patient from coming back over and over again. That's not something that's going to be either tolerated by a lot of patients who are especially freaked out by COVID-19, nor do they want that. I don't think ophthalmologists want that either. We don't either.
Yeah.